he was Dr. Greenthumb, and it was that same aspect of how can I be successful in growing in this environment? People just don't know how to do it. And when we started shifting over to water conservation, then it was a whole other thing that people had to learn about how to be successful in the desert.
He was Mr. Springs Preserve. He always was meeting people, and guest experience was kind of like his forte. So instead of like a plaque or something a little more meaningful, what could be more meaningful for Linn would be a vegetable garden. So I think this was a perfect fit.
He made himself at home in every garden, reveling in their wonders and welcoming the company of experts and amateurs alike.
He'd walk around the gardens all the time, and he'd come back and say, there were 137 plants in bloom today, and he would keep track of that, what's in bloom today and stuff, and he just got such a charge out of that.
He was always there as kind of the sage and helped me learn, and I was his support during some of the classes that he did, and so it kind of just went from there. Always had fun together. One of my most favorite memories of him is when he would talk about soils here, and he would pour water on his head just to show how the soil would repel the water. And it was always, people just couldn't believe it. As here he was standing in front of the class with his whole shirt and pants wet, but it always got the point across, and people were always wanting to ask him questions and wanting to learn more from him.
There was no patch of earth so barren he couldn't imagine it blooming with the proper care and attention, including the downtown construction dump that would become the Vegas Roots Community Garden.
And so he came down to the garden, and we slowly walked around. He's a slow walker, slow talker, and he just gave me some pointers on, you need to change this, you need to do that. I didn't know what a lot of stuff was growing. I didn't know what it was, and so he identified a lot of stuff for me.
Then, inch by inch and row by row, Linn's guidance and encouragement helped turn a wasteland into a Garden of Eden, and eaten along with other natural pleasures.
Little by little, that caliche turned into this wonderful community that just began to lend a hand. And so we went from those 7 raised beds to another 10. Right now we have 32 raised beds. We've built a chicken coop, we have a playground, we have a walking path, we have a fire pit where we roast, veggies and all of that. And so all of that just little by little, and I never had a plan. It just evolved. You just got to have a desire to learn. You just got to have a desire to grow food. You plant a seed, water it, have good soil, and God really does the rest.
It is this sense of simplicity and divinity that Linn worshipped in any garden. Year in and year out, season after season, like so many other growing things Linn had a hand in planting and nurturing, it will always be a lively, leafy, flowering, fruitful remembrance of all he knew and shared with others, which was everything.
They'll hear about Linn, they'll learn about Linn and gardens because I think he'll always be a part of it.